Hello, so I'm going to discuss today something called grounding, also known as earthing. And if you have not heard of the term before, all it really means is you stick your bare feet on either the earth or a surface that allows the electrical discharge from your body to connect with the actual earth itself. Most concrete and there's many materials that allow for this earthing to actually happen. So let me explain why this is so beneficial. You may have heard of it, and no, it's not just for hippies. It's incredibly powerful for the human body, for both healing, rejuvenation, for mood. It's incredible. So on a side note, you've probably also heard of something called antioxidants. So let me tell you how this all relates. So antioxidants, free radicals. Free radicals are, for lack of a better term, view them as if you remember a pole, a magnetic pole has a north side and a south side. And you remember when you have the two opposite poles facing each other, they attract. Well, a free radical is basically this unmatched pairing, and it looks for something to match up with. And it roams around literally through the air, and when it comes in contact with something it can view as a pairing, it will latch onto it, because remember, these opposites attract. And what happens is these free radicals, which I'm sure you've heard are very bad, cancer causing, a whole bunch of issues with them. What happens is when they go through our body, or when our body interacts with them, they'll actually strip the opposite charge, the opposite electrical charge, from other parts of the body. And when that happens, it wreaks havoc. And often people will have they'll have interactions with these free radicals in a large amount. Like, I'll give you an example of things that have a large amount of free radicals. When you eat burnt food and it's all blackened, that has a large amount of free radicals, and they can do harm to the body, which I'm sure you heard that food, when it's blackened, even though it's delicious, can be cancer causing. That's why. So let me go back to the grounding now. So literally what you're going to do is you're going to find a spot that you can stand on, and your body will receive from the earth the charge, the electrical charge that will neutralize these free radicals. And what will happen to your body is, and it takes 10 to 15 minutes for you to really start physically noticing, and 20 minutes is the ideal, but you'll notice what will happen is you'll feel calmer. If you were experiencing a level of anxiety in the mind, it may calm that. Also, you may have aches and pains that are associated with inflammation, let's say sciatica, or maybe arthritic conditions, or other things that are inflammation caused. And what happens is when you actually ground, your body will actually greatly reduce the inflammation. So the feeling you experience of, let's say, painful hands, or wherever you may experience the pain, which is, most pains are inflammation caused, you'll actually feel it feeling dramatically better after 15 to 20 minutes. So that is grounding. And one of the favorite ways people ground is they go on the beach. They go in some sort of body of water. The ocean is ideal because the ocean has a bunch of stuff going for it. It has a lot of salt in it. Salt is a very strong conductor. Basically, what's happening is your body over time, by what you eat, what your environment is, a whole bunch of factors, it creates, for lack of a better term, and what you eat, by the way, it creates almost like an inflammation, which is very much electrically charged, almost like your body's full of static. So what is grounding really is your body getting rid of excess static, and we call that again, they'll call it antioxidants. So you may eat foods that are high in antioxidants, but like acai berries or goji berries or some of these famous foods that are very high in antioxidants, if you spend 20 minutes in being grounded, you cannot eat enough acai berries or goji berries or whatever the new biggest antioxidant food is to match the level that you'll get from the earth. So you can do this by eating things like goji berries, acai, and I would encourage you to do so, but because they're also very healthy, there's many nutritional, mineral, and vitamin benefits with them, but the antioxidant benefit, the world's greatest, is free, and it's below your feet. A couple things when it comes to grounding. And again, they sometimes call earthing. You cannot wear shoes, you cannot wear socks. You have to have bare feet touching the surface. Ceramic does not work. So if you have a ceramic tile or something like that, that does not work, because ceramic doesn't, if you remember from school, ceramics don't conduct electricity or heat well. You need things that actually will have a level of conductivity for electricity. So concrete is very good, not asphalt. So the black asphalt is not good, but your sidewalk is good. Obviously the grass, anything in normal nature. It could be even tending to your garden. When you touch, even if you wear shoes and you touch a plant, there's a small level of grounding happening then. So just think of it when you are directly interacting with nature and you're physically touching the nature, that will produce the grounding benefit. And again, the ideal is 20 minutes. This is also something that people have experimented on for people who have jet lag. And the reason for that is, if you think about it, you're in this metal tube going through the sky, right? That metal tube is basically brushing against the air at a high speed, and that creates a lot of static, and it actually can build up in your body, this static. So a lot of the fatigue people feel from flying, a lot of people have literally, once they reach their destination, will ground for 15-20 minutes. And again, it just could be literally when you're outside waiting for the taxi or whatever, having your bare, taking off your shoes and socks, and or you're wearing slippers, and just literally staying on the concrete. That will ground you, and it will help you out. A lot of people even will do yogic kind of stretches, but they'll do them on the grass. And again, it's the same concept. So if you've ever heard about people saying whenever you go land on a flight, if you ground, I would encourage you to test this out, and I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments, but it makes complete sense. I mean, there's other factors when you fly, especially at high altitudes. There's actually some radiation you're getting because you're so high up and you're not as protected by our atmosphere. But one of the challenges with flying is the static that builds in your body, and again, that's the benefit of earthing/grounding. So I want you to eat well. I want you to eat great. I want you to eat very healthful, antioxidant-rich meals, but also understand that 20 minutes of grounding will be tremendously beneficial. So if you have any questions on this, also I did a video previously in the group, if you want to look it up, where I actually talk about a grounding mat, which plugs in to the grounding port of your plug. Those are useful, but one small challenge with those, when you do that, the proximity to the grounding wire and the other two wires for your electrical, that carries a frequency of 60 hertz, which is much higher than the body's natural speed of activity. And 60 cycles a second kind of makes the body feel anxious, so it doesn't have the same calming effect. The ideal, and they will sell these grounding companies, is to actually have a rod that goes outside to a window, and there's a copper wire return that clips onto these grounding mats. So that is the way to do it without the interference with your actual electrical system. So grounding mats are great. You can be grounded all day and you can get the benefit, but it's important that you understand that the one in the walls don't have the same benefit as going into the ground. I know it's an extra step, and I know you may be in an apartment building or something like that, but I'm just telling you the ideal. it's better to be grounded than not. So it's better to be in the wall than not. But if you are on the first or second floor and you can get a wire out to the ground, and you basically just hammer this rod into the ground, that's the best, second best, and the best is actually go out there and touch your feet to the ground. So let me know what questions you have. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, and I hope you begin implementing grounding, which I will show you a protocol I personally use here in just a moment. Thanks so much.